So October was an absolutely monumental month for video games. We had Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2 just came out, and I'm absolutely in love with it. I still need to complete both those games, getting through them in a good fashion. Mario came out, Assassin's Creed Mirage came out. It was a huge month for video games, and this year in general has just been absolutely spectacular. And I think November has some really good looking games as well. It has some heavy hitters, but it also has some games that are maybe flying under the radar a little bit that we're going to go over today. So yeah, I'm going to go through the 5 games that I'm most excited for in November. So I'm going to give 2 honorable mentions before we get into it. So the first honorable mention I'm going to give out is This Bed We Made. So this is kind of like a third-person narrative mystery game akin to the Sherlock Holmes games I played on the channel in the past. This one focuses on the role of Sophie, who is a nosy chambermaid in the 1950s, and she's basically kind of going through people's stuff and figuring out what's going on in their lives. I think it's a really cool concept. It's coming out at the start of the month. It's kind of like I would imagine like a shortish indie game, so I definitely want to check this one out and see what it's like. Maybe do a full game playthrough like I've done for a few of those games before and do a review for this one. But yeah, this was just a quick honorable mention I had. The other honorable mention I had is kind of a big game. It's called The Day Before. Now this is big because it's just had so much hype around it, but there's also been some really fishy stuff going on with this game, and the reason I don't have this game on my list is because I'm still not sure this game is actually going to come out, and if it does come out, I'm still not sure it's even a real video game. Like this game is so suspect. There's been so much, like I've watched a few of Force Gaming's videos on it, and everything about it just sounds weird. Now it's an upcoming multiplayer open world survival horror video game basically. It's developed by Fantastic and published by Mintona, and it's supposed to be coming out November 10th. Now they've delayed this game multiple times already. Now they haven't as of yet delayed it, and they still are posting on Twitter as if they are coming out November 10th. So maybe they are, but I just don't know the kind of state this game is going to be in. I'm very interested in it, and I'm keeping my eye on this one. The whole situation around this game is interesting. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the actual list. Those were my 2 honorable mentions. I know I spent quite a decent amount of time talking on them. Apologies. Let's get into the actual list, and we're starting with a Robocop Rogue City. This game comes out November 3rd. It's kind of like a AA style FPS set in old Detroit, and I think we need quite a few more of these kinds of games, these like AA games that aren't full price. Now I don't think it's full price, I could be wrong on that, but this game apparently has a 20 to 30 hour runtime. It's developed by Teon and published by Nacon. The game features an original storyline based on the Robocop films, with Peter Weller reprising his role as Robocop. Now I don't know too much about Robocop personally, but I know a lot of people love it and are going to be interested in this IP. I'm checking out the game currently. I'm playing it. Now, it's a fairly linear shooter in the way that it plays, but the open world definitely opens up a lot more when exploring around. You basically have to kill criminals, conduct investigations, and you can also give out these little parking tickets on the street randomly, which I thought was interesting, and you can get like XP by doing that. But yeah, so far I have only played about an hour. I'm not going to speak on it yet because I'm going to wait to give my thoughts for a video. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to do a gameplay video potentially, maybe play the first 2-3 hours, see if people want to see it as a series, and then I will as well work on doing a potential review if that's something that people are interested in. So yeah, as I said, not a huge kind of know-it-all when it comes to Robocop, but definitely an interesting premise for the video game, I think. But let's move on to game number 2, which is Quantum Error. Now I think this game comes out November, I think actually Robocop comes out November 2nd and Quantum Error comes out November 3rd, or else it's the opposite way around, I'm not exactly sure. But in Quantum Error, the United Nations of America has integrated AI into everyday life, and we basically have to assume that it's not going very well based on all of the footage that we've seen for the game so far. So the premise of the game is it's a cosmic horror shooter, which is about 14 to 15 hours in length is what I've heard, and it's apparently a game where they don't hold your hand. The developer told me this. It's a game where they really don't hold your hand. You'll have to figure stuff out for yourself a lot. The facility you'll be in is almost like a maze. So, and yeah, this is an indie game as well, which which is something that you really need to keep in mind. It's from a team called Team Kill Media, which is a team founded by 4 brothers, actually, interestingly enough. And yeah, I thought the concept of the game was cool. I like how kind of outspoken and honest they've been online about the game. So it's been something that I've been interested in for a while now. I'm keeping my eye on for a while. And I also now have received a review code for Quantum Error. So I haven't played it yet, but I am going to be playing Quantum Error over the next few days, and I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on that. I'll probably, as well, like with Robocop, do a gameplay video where I play the first couple hours of the game, or the first hour of the game, or whatever it may be, and then we'll see if people want to see it as a series, if people want to see a review, whatever. I'm playing like 10 different games at the moment, so I'm not going to be able to play all of them to their completion, so I'm kind of like picking and choosing here and there what I'm going to do, just because it's such an intense period for video games. There's so many video games out at the moment, it's incredible, and so many brilliant video games as well, so I kind of have to maybe pick and choose. I'm playing through Spider-Man and Alan Wake 2 right now, which are both phenomenal video games. So if some of these video games aren't going to cut it, then I'm going to have to drop them. Simple as that. Now, let's go on to game number 3. This game is coming out November 9th, and it's Like a Dragon Gaiden. Another game in the Yakuza world is upon us, and to be honest, from what I've played, they really never miss with these games. So I'm sure it'll be a great video game. I'm probably not going to play it right away because I'm still in the middle of playing a few Yakuza games, one being Yakuza Kiwami, and the other being Like a Dragon Ishin, which is another Like a Dragon spin-off like the one that we're talking about here. I have played maybe a couple of hours of Like a Dragon Ishin. I thought it was awesome, but I was just playing so much else at the time, I never got a chance to go back to it. This game in particular, Like a Dragon Gaiden, takes place between Like a Dragon and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which will be the new one coming out. And the premise of the game is basically that Kiryu is an undercover agent in Osaka and Yokohama. So I don't want to spoil anything about the end of Yakuza 6, because I do believe that this pertains to what this game is about. So I've never even played Yakuza 6, so I couldn't really tell you exactly what happened, but I know that there's some story spoilers surrounding the reasons for why this game is being made, I suppose, the ending of Yakuza 6. Because yeah, Yakuza 6 was the most recent entry into the series, and there's some shit gone on anyway that has led to the events of Like a Dragon Gaiden. I don't know exactly what it is. We're not going to go over it here. And yeah, probably, as I said, not going to get into this game immediately. And I feel like there's just too many of these spin-offs now, you know, like I'm not going to be able to get to them all. There's already so many Yakuza games. Like I still have, I think I've only played like 3 of them, like including Judgment. Maybe I've played like 5 because I played both the Judgment games, but there's just so many of these that I have to catch up on that there's just no way I have time to play spin-offs. Now, obviously, a lot of people have already played all the mainline entries, but for me in particular, I'm like kind of overwhelmed with how many of these games that there is at the moment. I feel like they don't really need these extra spin-offs at the moment. All right, so 4th on the list is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. This game comes out November 10th, and the big heavy hitter that is COD is back in action, of course. One of the biggest video gaming franchises in the world. It's just insane how big of a game this is, how big of a franchise this is. Like every year it sells the most. It's honestly incredible that this is the 20th entry into the Call of Duty franchise, and it's still just absolutely pummeling every other shooter into the ground. So yeah, this is Modern Warfare 3, which is a sequel to Modern Warfare 2, not to be confused with Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 though. Yeah, creativity is dead. With naming games, like, it's so stupid. I hate this shit where they just reboot the titles of video games. Like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. There's already been one. We don't need another Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Think up of a new name, man. It's just like, it's unbelievable. But yeah, as I said, this is the 20th Call of Duty game. Not many gaming franchises have that many entries. Me personally, I've not been very into Call of Duty in a while. I really wanted to try with some of the recent ones multiplayer wise, but I could just never get into it. It's just a bit too hectic for me. It's guns blazing, action at every single second. It's just chaotic, and yeah, I just couldn't really keep up. But I do buy the games most years anyway because I really do enjoy the campaigns. They're not amazing or anything, but they're always a solid FPS story. And yeah, I might give this new one a try. I'll definitely play the campaign and see what the differences are. Just because I'm curious, I might try out the multiplayer as well and see if I can finally get into one. The only reason I generally would play the multiplayer is if my friends are playing it as well and I want to play a bit with my friends. So yeah, I think my friend Mihal might be getting a console to play Call of Duty. So I'll definitely play a little bit with him. But overall, overall, not too interested in COD personally, but I know it's one of the biggest franchises in the world, so I would be stupid to leave it off the list, really, wouldn't I? All right, and last but not least, of course, I'm not going in order of what I'm most excited for. I'm going in order of release dates. I should have mentioned that at the start. I do mention it at the start of most videos, but some people, what am I doing with my hand here? I'm like that. But Persona 5 Tactica is coming out November 17th, and it's a game that I'm personally very excited for. It's another one of those things where it's like, there's too many of these spin-offs, man. Like, I don't know, like there's so many spin-off video games at the moment. I'm just like, I can't keep up with them. But Persona 5 Tactica is something that's definitely intrigued me. I've never got too in depth with strategy games recently in my life. I guess I used to play a lot of like Total War and stuff like that when I was younger, but recently I haven't got into it. So yeah, Persona 5 Tactica is basically taking place concurrently with the events of Persona 5, depicting the phantom thieves of hearts as they are transported to an alternate world, overcome with war and oppression, prompting an alliance with a group of freedom fighters known as the Rebel Corps to stage a revolution against the tyrannical legionnaires. So yeah, that sounds pretty cool. The gameplay will encompass standard conventions of strategy RPGs while also keeping stuff from the typical Persona gameplay like summons and stuff like that. So yeah, the Phantom Thieves forming an alliance with this other group to take down an I can't speak English, an authoritarian group known as the Legionnaires. Like, that does sound like a cool premise, and I absolutely have fell in love with Persona. I still need to play Persona 4 Golden. These games are just so long. Like, I can't there's just too many video games in the world to play. My backlog is overflowing, and that's the biggest problem I have. Like, is a new spin-off comes out, but I still haven't played Persona 4 Golden all the way through. I'm 12 hours in. You know, a new spin-off comes out for Yakuza, but I still haven't played Yakuza Kiwami all the way through. I'm only probably like 15 hours in or something like that. So it's just it's hard to keep up, and I'd rather play the base games obviously than the spin-offs, but I also want to keep up with content and kind of try out these new games for people if they want to see it on the channel. So yeah, let me know if you want to see any of these games on the channel for the month. I definitely will have at least one video out for Robocop and for Quantum Error. The rest I'm not so sure on. So yeah, keep me posted, and I will keep the videos coming for you guys here on the Apex Sound 2, trying more videos like this, more review type content. I want to do more news-based content as well. I'm potentially going to do a video on all the shit going on with Sony at the moment, where they're potentially pivoting back from live service because there was a lot of unrest within the studio. But anyway, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. These are the games that I'm most excited for November. Let me know if you are interested in these games as well, or which one you're most excited for, or if there's a different game that I didn't mention that you're excited for. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time. It's been my pleasure to serve you all. Peace out.